Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lattes on My Mind. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Felina.
What are we going to be talking about today, Felina?
Today we are going to be talking about Mormonism.
So grab your lattes and join us for the journey.
So, Hannah.
Yes, what's up?
We got our puppy.
I know she's here, everyone. She is tiny. She is fluffy.
She's a tiny little floof ball.
She's got a little sass to her sometimes.
She does, a little bit.
She's a cutie.
Of sass. She's been doing good.
She's been working hard her 9 to 5 with us.
She has. Okay, so she hates car rides. And
sad.
I've been, obviously, taking her to work. And she literally laid down and fell asleep on the way home.
Yay!
I know. I said, way to go, girl. You got it. See, car rides aren't so scary.
Yeah. We're also recording this after work, which is unusual for us.
We are. So if we sound a little tired.
We're trying to pep it up a little bit.
We are.
So what else is going on new?
What else new is going on?
I don't know what I just said.
I don't think
Nothing happened, guys.
it's been, other than getting a dog, it's been pretty uneventful.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly.
Just the stress of life.
So, let's just get into it, I guess.
Should we say something about okay, first of all, we're not Mormon. We've never been Mormon.
We are not. Nope, we haven't.
So, we're going to talk about this as educatedly as we can, but also just like kind of just because the reason why we're doing it right is because one day we had a discussion about it because you didn't really know a lot about.
Yeah, I was like, what even is Mormonism? I know polygamy, but not polygamy now. But like, what do they even believe? Why are they so much different than us? And really, a lot of like the, for lack of a better term, rules that they have and Christians have are very similar, honestly. So
there's just a lot of core differences, I think.
Yeah.
And kind of we're talking about like, because we both watched that show, right? Under the Banner of Heaven. You watched that, right?
I love that show. That show is so good. You have to watch it.
It's a little violent. It's a little upsetting, but it's so good. It's so good. But I think that I don't know if we both like were like, oh, I watched that. And I was like, do you know anything about Mormonism?
Yeah.
And then I started talking to you about it. But I do have some friends who I think came out of Mormonism, but like I said, from my own personal experience, I can't talk to it. So we are doing an episode on it, but we're not being.
And if we get anything wrong, or if you are a Mormon, or you have a loved one who is Mormon, and you can shed light on other information, please reach out to us.
Right. We just want to put that out there.
Yeah. Speaking of Under the Banner of Heaven, though, you can find it on Hulu and on Disney+.
Look at you. Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
We have no sponsors at the moment, so.
So if you would like to be a sponsor, you can also reach out to us at latchespodcast@gmail.com.
So what do they believe? Did the show get it right?
It's been a while since I saw it, but
because they have some history in the show too.
They do
of like Joseph Smith and things. I think
they do, but I can't really remember it.
Okay, yeah,
so I might need to rewatch it.
I had my wisdom tooth surgery when I watched it.
Oh, so you have a lot that you forgot.
I was just laying in bed watching that show with Wes for like 3 days.
She was just laying there hallucinating while she watched it.
No, I didn't get hallucinated. Sad. Tell me about it.
But speaking of Joseph Smith.
Well, let's talk about him.
Joseph Smith is like the founding father of, Mormonism. He's the guy who kind of came up with it all. And by came up with it all, I mean, like, he's the guy who translated the tablets. He started the church. He's the one who had the prophet, divine vision. Yes, the prophet
of the Mormon.
Thank you.
I don't know if that's right.
Yeah. And he organized it in Fayette, New York. I'm saying it that way because Kentucky, you pronounce it Fayette County.
Yeah.
So
I think that's how you say it.
Is that how you say it?
I would say Fayette, but
okay. I don't know.
Is there another way?
Phonetics, man.
Right. Maybe New Yorkers say it.
If you're from New York, let me know. But Fayette, New York on April 6, 1830. And he presided over the church until his death on June 27th, 1844. Ooh. So not that long. It's only 14 years.
That he presided over the church?
Mm-hmm. I thought only it was 14 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 1830 to 1844.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So 14 years.
Yeah, that's 14. You're right.
Did I say 13? I don't know.
No, you said 14. I thought.
Well, so his death is kind of, it's
spooky.
It's not spooky. It's just rough. He did not die from natural causes.
Let's just say.
So what happened is these people got together, and I think it's called the Nauvoo Press. I'm not sure.
That sounds familiar.
Okay, I pronounced that right. It's Nauvoo. So
I think so. I think they might have mentioned it in the show. I've heard that word.
Yeah. So it's the Nauvoo Press. They printed this article on Mormons and the Mormon Church and Joseph Smith and their beliefs, and Joseph Smith didn't really like that. He said, I don't keep my name out your mouth, is what he said. And so he ordered that the place where they had printed, it was like, if you Google it, it'll be like, it's not got many issues. It literally just has the one issue.
Really?
It's literally just this first issue.
This newspaper just came out to write this one article?
They came out to write articles.
And then?
They wrote the first one. Joseph Smith got a hold of it and said, nah, we're destroying your printer.
Oh my gosh.
So the place where they had it printed... It's the 1800s, so
of it all, as we say.
The place that they had it printed, they tore the place down.
Dang.
Yeah, they had it completely demolished.
So not freedom of speech in this.
not for Joseph Smith. And so then obviously these people were outraged because freedom of speech.
Oh yeah.
They wanted to be able to report what they had seen in their experiences. And I think it's important to note that a lot of the people who got together to write this newspaper had seceded. Is that right?
Seceded? Seceded from the religion?
From the church
seceded.
Of Latter-day Saints.
They know what you mean. I think that's a word.
They had stepped away. Right, they had gone straight from the path.
Right.
But had previously been members of the Church of Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's a really
long name.
The title confuses me. They stepped away. They were no longer Mormons. So that was also part of how they got all their information for this article.
Right.
And so this led to riots.
Oof.
This led to Smith declaring martial law.
Oh.
Yeah.
How did he have that authority?
I don't understand how he had so much authority. Is this in New York
still, or is this when he moved?
Illinois.
Okay.
This is in Illinois, I believe.
Okay.
Nauvoo.
Nauvoo is the place?
Nauvoo, however.
Okay.
Yeah, this is where it was.
Right.
And so when I was researching this, I don't understand how he had as much power as he did to declare martial law, which we'll get back to that in a second. But I think he was basically trying to say that he, almost like a dictatorship. He was basically saying, I rule this. Mm-hmm. This is, I rule it. So he declared martial law.
Didn't they, found that little town or something? So maybe that's why he had...
Yeah, maybe.
Because they were, trying to get away so they could have the religion, or I don't know. This is what I remember from this show. So right. I don't know if that's completely accurate.
I think they would have had to, otherwise how would he have so much power?
Right.
So he declared martial law, then he flees. No, this was still in New York. Sorry, my bad, I misspoke. Then that's he flees New York, and the Governor Ford.
Oh.
He, quote, pledged his faith and the faith of the state to protect him while he underwent a legal and fair trial. So he basically was like, come on, I got you. Okay. I'll protect you. Well, so Smith and his brother Hiram Smith were charged with treason for declaring martial law.
Oh my God.
And they were detained. Well, some people still weren't happy with him. A mob of 150 to 200 people with their face painted with gunpowder. They had wet gunpowder down, and then they painted their faces with it. Got in to wherever they were being detained. This may be graphic, so if there are potential little ears listening, maybe don't continue just for this little bit or skip past it, like 10, 11 seconds.
Yeah.
So they shot Hiram Smith in the face.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then they ran upstairs where Joseph Smith was trying to escape from a second-story building, and they shot him multiple times, and he fell to his knees. Yeah. And he
out the window?
Died.
Or
no,
just to...
No,
oh, okay.
He just fell down.
Oh, gosh. I was like, dang.
So that's the ending of Joseph Smith's life. But how did this get so controversial?
Right.
So basically, in a very, very brief,
let's summarize,
small little paragraph, we are going to summarize how the history of how he started Mormonism.
Right.
So he had a vision or a dream, or it's unclear, kind of.
I think it's supposedly like a vision. Yeah.
The angel basically said that Jesus had left tablets. He had tablets, which will become known as the Book of Mormon. And they needed to be translated. And that after he was resurrected, after Jesus was resurrected, he went to America. He said, skirt over to America.
Hop on over.
And he brought these tablets with him, these Egyptian tablets. Which confuses me.
I don't understand why would Jesus Egyptian? Like, why?
I don't know. They were Egyptian tablets, and he buried them by a tree in New York. And it just so happens that Joseph Smith is from New York.
Right.
And it was like just up the road, a hop, skip, and a jump away from where he was. So he took a little day trip up there, and he dug and dug and dug, and he found these tablets, and then he needed to translate them.
Right.
Well, how he translated them was he had a person in the room with him, and he put a rock or a pebble in this like hat, this top hat.
Right.
And he then put his face in this hat, and he spoke, and the person wrote down what he said. And like 9 times out of 10, the tablets weren't even in the room.
What? I thought he was looking at the tablet.
No,
he put the hat. Oh, he just put a rock?
He put a rock.
What?
In a hat, and he spoke.
So it was like God speaking to him, or the angel speaking to him?
I guess, because
of the hat.
I don't know. I don't know about you, but I don't really think Joseph Smith knew Egyptian.
That's why I'm curious about, like, did he know Egyptian? But like, if the angel's translating it to him, maybe
right, and the rock is just like his form of meditation. Maybe I don't know, but that is a brief synopsis of the history of how the LDS Church.
And he wrote down, and that's what became their laws.
And that's what became their laws. He was the prophet. He was the only one who could communicate with God. And we'll get into, well, I guess we'll just go ahead and do beliefs.
Sure.
Okay, so he said that the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. In Christianity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, they're 3 in 1. So they're all one entity, but they're 3 different parts.
Right.
Well, the Mormons, as far as I could find, believe that they are 3 separate people with the same goal of like bringing people to salvation.
Mm-hmm.
And they also believe that Jesus is, obviously he's the Son, so he's God's Son. He's the Father's Son.
Right.
And that he is the brother of Satan.
Right.
And that Satan is also God's son.
Right.
Like the black sheep,
Right.
So that's what they believe. Which in Christianity, it's Satan is a fallen angel. Jesus is the only son of God.
Which is so interesting because in other lore, I guess, well, no, because I guess Jesus wasn't an angel. Never mind. I got sidetracked. I was thinking of Supernatural with like Michael and Michael and Lucifer being brothers, which would make sense. I guess like if all the angels were, but in the Bible it doesn't necessarily say that they're brothers, but that they're angels. Mm-hmm. So
I guess all the angels are brothers and sisters.
I guess kind of. Maybe. I don't know. They're just created beings, so I mean, they could.
And they're all created by God.
Yeah.
So in a sense, like I could understand if they were coming at it from like all the angels and like all of them were Jesus's siblings because they were all created. They were all just, and Jesus is our sibling because we were created. But like, but that's not it. They just think that just Satan. Yeah. They're brothers. Yeah. So that's what they believe. They also, touching back on Jesus going to America, they believe that after Jesus died, he didn't only go to America, but he went to the whole world because in the Bible, he, like God is the God of the entire world, not just Jerusalem.
Right.
So that's why they believed Jesus came to America because they believed Jesus went all around the world.
And this is after Jesus' death and resurrection.
After his resurrection, yeah.
Okay, so I see.
Yeah.
I was like, well, then why didn't it mention Jesus going to other places? But,
but what they see as Jesus going to other places is that God was the God of the whole world.
Right.
Like, so like anytime it mentions like all of the people.
Right. He went to all the people.
Then that's like, oh, well, Jesus went there.
Right. Right.
Now, marriage.
Oh,
when it comes to marriage, you cannot attend a wedding in the Mormon church unless you are a practicing Mormon.
Oh yeah.
So you can't go. So there's all kinds of TikToks of people being like, I couldn't go to my brother's wedding or my son's wedding or whatever. Like I couldn't be in there. And there's a lot of there's like YouTube videos and TikTok videos reacting to YouTube videos of people talking on their experience who have since left the church. People talking on their experiences like of their wedding day, and it's wild. We're not going to get into that much, right? But like,
so if you're a Mormon, I don't know if you know the answer to this. Do you have to only get married in the Mormon church, or can you like get married somewhere else?
Well, theoretically, you could get married somewhere else. However, they also believe, and I could have just misread this, if you're not married in the temple,
right,
your marriage might not be respected by God after you die.
Oh, and that's important.
And that is important.
So the temple only in is it in Utah? Or in any temple that you're like in your state.
In your temple.
Okay.
Yeah. If you don't, they believe like the temple is like your temple.
Your temple, like the church. Okay.
Any Mormon temple.
Gotcha.
But they basically, you can get married elsewhere, but there's a chance it might not be respected or recognized by God after you die because. Yeah. You in Mormonism you stay connected to your spouse after death.
Right.
So it's till death do us part, but like even after death you're reunited in the afterlife as, husband and wife.
Right. Whereas in Christianity, as I understand it, in heaven there's not really marriage.
Right.
Or recognized roles after the fact. Yeah. Like from what I understand of the Bible.
Yeah.
And most Christian beliefs. I don't know if that's what I've learned. Yes. I think.
Yeah. Now, it's also important to note that 47 to 50% of marriages in the United States end in divorce.
Dang. Is that the numbers now?
About. Yeah.
Like, right. Yeah. I haven't looked at it recently.
I haven't either. The rate of Mormon divorces is 6%.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So they're strongly encouraged to work their differences out. Right. Which I'm not trying to dog on anybody, but
right.
I've watched a lot of videos recently on Mormons and people who have left the church and reasonings why. There were a lot of, well, I'm the man, so you
have to
just shut up and
oof. Yeah.
This is how it's going to be.
Right.
Which is, if that works for you, it couldn't be me.
Me either.
So that's marriages. Going along with marriages, we got some polygamy.
Uh-oh. Now, no, you might say this.
Go ahead.
This is not as much practiced by just, as I understand, like the people who are not like the conservative Mormon church, or
so polygamy is no longer practiced by the church.
It's not even legal, right?
It's not legal, and I believe that is the main reason it is not practiced.
Oh no,
by the church, because whenever they were saying take many wives, it was more like from what I understand, it was more of they don't want to lead men into temptation. So by allowing them to have many wives and stay true to their wives, they're fine. Like it prevents people from being tempted because they have their many wives.
It's kind of like Rasputin stuff going on here.
Yeah. Whereas like they see monogamy as saw monogamy as a temptation on men to not be faithful, because that is one of their big things, is being faithful.
Right. Right. So that's confusing to me.
It's confusing to me too. So if I said it wrong, let me know.
No, I mean, like, I don't think you said it wrong. It's just like, why? To me, it's like you're making an excuse a little, but it's like, homie Joseph Smith over here. Yeah.
One woman wasn't enough for him. So he said, everybody gets multiple wives, because he had already said you have to stay faithful to your wife. Whereas if they're your wives, you're still faithful. If you marry another person.
Sounds like Joseph Smith was just like, I want to have more than one wife.
Yeah. I want to be unfaithful.
Did he though? He did, right?
He did.
Okay.
He did.
I
he had
remember,
multiple wives.
because I remember he had a wife for a while, just one. And then he decided he wanted to marry more.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I will say, there is a lot of polygamy in Christianity.
What?
Not now, but in the Bible.
In the Bible, yeah. They had lots of,
Yeah.
That always confused me. I'm like, why can you have all these concubines and stuff? Like, what the heck?
Which is probably could be where, I mean, they justified a lot of that from. Yeah. Which, I mean, fair enough.
A lot of the Old Testament.
If you're following the Bible, I mean, you... whatever. Anyways.
Yeah. Whew, we could go down a rabbit trail, but I'm not going to say what I think about all the Old Testament stuff, but it just it baffles me. Like some stuff in the Old Testament, I'm just like, I don't know. Like,
yeah. It's fun. So I will say, there is still polygamy practiced, not by the Mormon church. It's the fundamentalist Mormons who still practice it, and the Mormon church, the LDS church, does not claim them as members.
Part of members. If it's illegal,
you get excommunicated if you are practicing polygamy from the LDS church.
Yeah, because because I would assume that they would be like, well, we don't advise doing illegal things, right? Like I would assume.
Yeah.
So they are probably distancing themselves from the people who are doing it.
Right.
Why are they getting away with it?
The people who are doing it, the fundamentalists, a lot of them are found in backwoods, podunk, middle of nowhere places. So they're easy to hide.
They're hiding out.
Or they're living off the land. They don't have to go into town that often, you know? Yeah. So when they were practicing polygamy, believed that polygamy was essential for salvation and that it's even more important than baptism.
What?
Like, if you're not baptized, that's fine. As long as you have multiple wives, you're good. You're gonna be okay.
So
I just had a stroke.
you're gonna be fine. So a man cannot be faithful, so he has many wives. What if a wife can't be faithful?
No, wives. No.
Okay. Yeah, women just don't get it. Too bad. Too bad.
Well, and if you think about it, a lot of these women were young girls.
Oh my gosh.
Who were forced to marry like their dad's friends or
disgusting.
Really old guys who just wanted a fourth wife.
That's
and they
disgusting.
Wanted to make more baby, like,
yeah.
Which, I mean, there could be the argument of freedom of religion. Like, hey, just because it's not your religion doesn't mean it should be illegal because it's our religion. Or like, make it illegal unless you claim religious immunity or whatever. Like, I could see,
Yeah.
But also, no. I couldn't be me.
No.
Now, if you refuse to take more than one wife, or if you would have refused to take more than one wife, you would be not obeying God's commandment. Like, you'd be not excommunicated, but you'd be like looked down upon because you are not obeying God's commandments.
Gosh.
Now, when Wilford Woodruff, who was the person he was the prophet when they said no more polygamy.
Right.
So when he said no more polygamy, basically a lot of people were like, oh, they needed us to have multiple wives. They needed there to be multiple wives because they needed us to reproduce. They needed us to make more Mormons. They needed us to have children so that we had more people in the faith.
Okay.
So a lot of people were like, look at all of the kids that were born while we were polygamous versus like now. So that's their
reasoning.
That's one way to look at it, is you have to increase and multiply, which the Bible does say to multiply. So
yeah,
just maybe not in that way.
But I feel like, when the Bible was saying it was like, you got to populate the earth when there was no one on the earth.
Right. Yeah. So.
Dang.
Yeah, that one's fun. They do still technically believe like in like a form of polygamy. They don't practice it though. So according like the official reason, not just the, oh, well, look at all the kids, that's just the childbearing was how the women justified it afterwards. It could have been the men too, but because it's confusing. It's, hey, the Lord says to do this.
Right.
Hey, now the Lord says not to do this. It's like, right. The guy's going to be like, what? I'm already married to this man and I have been for 10 years. It can be confusing. So the official reason was that it was a test of faith on the Mormons.
It was a test of faith?
Like, God was like, because, it's a big no-no.
Right.
And everybody's going to look down on you because it's the 1800s and you're going to be having multiple wives and people are going to be like, nah. But if you do this, then I know you're a true follower, like a test of faith, basically.
Right.
It stopped officially in 1890 for the LDS Church. Again, there's still certain people who do it. But it stopped in 1890 because President Wilford Woodruff, gosh, that's hard to say.
That's a tongue twister.
He was afraid that temples were going to be destroyed.
Oh, like mob, like destroyed?
Like people were getting upset. It was illegal. You couldn't do it. And they were openly doing it. So he was like,
right, we got to stop.
People are angry. People are coming and attacking us. They're like, things are getting dicey.
Yeah,
they're going to destroy all of our temples. We're going to have nowhere to go. Let's just stop it. That's basically the reason.
Okay.
So let's get into some rules, Hannah.
Ooh, okay, some rules. Those are always fun.
Do you have anything else you want to say, or you just processing?
I'm processing. Yeah, it's just like I just don't understand some of the, I don't know, the polygamy stuff. Like I'm just like, what?
Yeah, which it's no longer practiced.
Right.
They basically, they still believe but not practice. It's like, oh, you got divorced, or no, not divorced. Sorry, I misspoke. Your first wife died, or right. Your first husband died,
right?
And you got remarried, but you're still going to be reconnected in the afterlife. You're still, if you remarry and then that one dies, you're going to have both of them in the afterlife. They're right. both going to be your wives. And if you get remarried again, then all three of them will be your wife.
Right.
That's in that sense. That's what they still believe you're connected to them. Okay, so let's get into some of the rules.
Ooh, the fun stuff.
Yeah. So basically, no premarital sex and complete fidelity, which is like kind of ironic, after you are married.
Okay.
So basically, no premarital sex, no sex with anybody but your spouse after.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, same for Christianities.
Same.
Yeah. Christianities.
Yep. Yep, it is.
So the next one is no drugs or alcohol.
Okay.
And their reasoning for that is they don't want their decision making to be inhibited, and they don't want to make poor decisions because they are under the influence. They want to be able to make clear, concise.
But don't you want something to excuse it a little bit? Like if you do make a bad decision?
Well,
no, just kidding.
No, because you're not allowed to. They don't.
Yeah.
They're basically saying they won't make a bad decision because they're not drinking alcohol or doing drugs.
I see.
Another one is no dishonesty. You cannot be dishonest.
But isn't there like some like secretive stuff going on in the church?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure in every
religion, every church there is. That's like you're telling me that there's not dishonest people everywhere.
Yeah. I remember watching, what was it? Eat Sweet, Pray, and Obey.
What is that? Sweet?
Eat. I might be wrong. It might not be Eat Sweet. Something Sweet, Pray, and Obey. It's a series on Amazon Prime, I believe.
Okay.
And it's really good. It's very disturbing.
Oh, gosh.
Not for little pictures, but,
Right.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Is it about the Mormonism, or is it about like the church?
It's about the church.
The church in general, yeah. Or like
it's like it's about a cult. Oh. I think it's been a while since I watched it. Okay. I think it might be like a it's a cult group of. Oh. It was very disheartening, but very enlightening as well. It made me mad. It ticked me off, but it was like, wow.
Yeah. It was like,
wow.
Mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There was a lot of dishonesty going on there. Let me just say.
Oh, yeah.
10% of your income has to go to charity.
Oh, has to?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Has to go to charity. Not even like the church. Because
like to a random charity?
You also have to volunteer at the church.
Oh, there are
several Mormons who spend hours volunteering at the church. They're basically working for free. Yeah. Same-sex relations are a no-go. So this one guy, I can't remember where exactly I read it, but he was responding to an article that was talking about like some of the stuff that Mormons believed. And he was basically like, yeah, like no same-sex relations. However, we have a lot of LGBTQ plus members who, we welcome with open arms. And yeah.
But like they can't,
we're not monsters, but you can't practice it. Like you don't practice it, but you can still be a member of our church, and you can still,
Right.
come and help volunteer, I guess.
You can do the work, but you can't. You can
do the work, but you can't
be who you are.
Yeah. So basically, so that no pornography.
Right.
Sundays are for the Lord.
Right.
No foul language.
Right.
No cigarettes, tobacco of any kind,
right.
really. Coffee or tea.
Now, I know this is where I take issue. I gotta have my coffee. That was a joke. Why? I guess the tobacco also inhibits. Like, where did they get that one from? Unlike the caffeine.
This one's a little unclear. So it's not just caffeine, actually. No. They can have Coke. They can have sodas.
I thought they couldn't have Coke.
No, they can. They have.
Now, maybe they weren't in the past, but I thought they couldn't have the soda with the caffeine in it either.
Mm-mm. No, they can have caffeine. They just can't have coffee or tea.
Oh.
Which is why this makes literally no sense to me.
Right. What? Why? Because doesn't some soda have like as much caffeine as coffee?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they just can't have. I'm sure they can't have that one, but like, they can't have it.
Don't keep that good. Don't keep the coffee away, guys. It's so good.
Yeah, they can't have coffee, which is naturally grown in the ground.
But they can't have. Yeah.
But they can have high fructose corn syrup.
Don't do that
with sweeteners.
I mean, I also drink soda, but I said don't do that.
I do too, but like, I'm not saying I can't drink coffee or tea. You know, like. That's
it's weird. Maybe because like I wonder how old the rule is with the coffee and tea. Maybe it's because there wasn't as many like options for caffeine then, and there's no coffee and tea. But then they were just
soda came along and they were like, well, it doesn't say no this.
Soda has been around technically for a really long time because it was like a medicine at first or whatever. But
it's been around for a while.
Yeah, but still, like maybe it was just like no coffee and tea at first.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. They can't have abortions. They can't gamble.
No gambling.
This one also is gonna bother you, I feel like. No women can hold the priesthood.
Now, not surprising.
Women can.
What can women do?
They can have leadership roles in the church.
Oh, okay. Well,
but and this is coming from another person responding to a thing. They quote have their place.
Oh. Stay in your lane. My gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not shocked. I mean, a lot of conservative Christian churches are like this as well.
Yeah. To which I say, I will not stay in my lane.
I will not. I do not like to stay in my lane.
I will get up and tell you what to do, and you're going to do it, by golly.
Women, yeah. There are certain gifts that they have in leadership.
Which is why I think that they can have leadership, but they can't hold the priesthood.
Oh, I see. From their perspective. Okay.
Yeah.
So the priesthood, is that like the pastor in quotation marks of the church?
The pastor, they can't. A lot of what I saw too was like the priesthood, like the multiple wives thing is how you get your priesthood.
Oh. Well, what about now?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
Because that's not a thing now.
No, it's not. But so, yeah. So basically, like, you can be a leader, but you can't be, like, a leader. You know, like, you can be enough of a leader to where you're in the meetings.
Right.
But I get the feeling they can't say much in those meetings.
So if you have an affair in the Mormon church, that's, like, disgraceful. But you can marry as many. Well, I mean, I know you can't now. But you can marry many.
Yeah. So if you had an affair, so
wouldn't you be having an affair though if you take on an extra wife? Because aren't you already?
No, because you cannot commit. You cannot commit any sexual acts with the person before you're married.
But having an affair can also be having affections and kissing.
We know that. Okay. Well, and I think that goes to like what's that one family that had all the wives and now they're all divorcing him.
The Sister Wives?
The Sister Wives show, yeah.
I've never watched it. But...
So I think that's one thing that was like a really big deal is like his fourth wife, Robin.
How did they make this show it's illegal to have...
They went on the run. They had to stop making the show for a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah. But so his fourth wife, Robin... Oh, he's also only legally married to Robin. He divorced his first wife.
Okay.
And then he married Robin.
To get away with it. The show?
I don't know.
Okay.
I guess, yeah, because they were so popular now. But he divorced his first wife, which he had married the entire time, married Robin legally, and then he's like spiritually married. There was like a spiritual ceremony to the other wives. So, but basically there was like this big controversy because the other sister wives found out that Cody and Robin had kissed before they were married.
Affair.
Or before they were engaged or something. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so is a kiss, they consider that like...
No, you can't do that.
Okay.
If you're already married.
You know. Right.
Yeah. So that's how they got around it.
I'm so confused.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They also have to put their attention towards their family. So they have to spend time with their family. They have to spend time. They are, quote, strongly encouraged. That's me in air quotes.
The women?
No, just all of them.
All of them.
Just anybody is strongly encouraged, which means you better do it, to research their family tree. Yeah. They also have to spend daily scripture time and prayer time. They have to have those. They have to have they're strongly encouraged to get a good education. They have to do a monthly fast and, like I said, volunteer work at their church.
This is a lot.
Yeah. And then missions.
That would stress me out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So do they like... I totally lost my train of thought. There was something I was thinking of when you said the thing about they have to like read scripture and stuff daily. Yeah. So how do they know that you're doing that or not?
Because you can't be dishonest.
Do they read like other scriptures or just the Book of Mormon? Do they read like any other religions?
No, they read the Bible.
Oh, they read the Bible.
The Book of Mormon, I'm pretty sure,
is like a complementary.
Is just the Bible with the Book of Mormon.
Oh, I thought it was like its own separate thing.
Well, yeah, it's like the Book of Mormon is all the backstory.
Okay.
But then they also know the Christian Bible. You know, like they know parts of that, at least. They do all that. Now, really quick, I'm going to try and keep it brief. We're going to get into what exactly is a mission, because missions are huge. And there are lots of TikToks that I have seen and Instagram reels or Facebook reels that I have seen of like these big, huge parties, and the whole family gets together and they like are waiting for this one member's mission, like assignment.
Right.
Or this group of people's missions assignment. And, like they have a big party, and I've also heard a lot of stories of people's missions and ex-Mormons' missions, and how, like, you just hearing how they talk about it after the fact versus how excited these other people are to be getting their mission statement. It's like, whoa, that's worlds different. But then again, you got to think, if they're an ex-Mormon, they're coming from a lot of maybe religious trauma or hurt, like any other religion. Mm-hmm. Like if you secede, is that the right word?
I think that there's a word for it when it's religion, and I can't remember if we're using the right word. Secede is like usually like, I guess you could use it in that sense, isn't it? Like when you. I know, like, secede as in, like, a state. To withdraw from an organization. I mean, no, you can. As a religious communion.
Yeah.
Or a political party or federation. Yeah, that's the right word. I feel like there is another word, though, that I'm thinking of that also means this.
There is. But that's why I was like, secede isn't right, but it is right.
It is right, but it's, yeah.
Anyways, so, missions. What is it? There's lots of missionaries.
Okay.
So... This is from the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints newsroom. When you Google it, there's like their website, their newsroom page. It is, quote, a period of volunteer service, usually ranging from 6 to 24 months, when church members devote themselves part-time or full-time to proselytizing, humanitarian assistance, or other service, end quote.
That's a long time.
24 months.
2 years. Wait, does it have to be 24 months?
6 to 24 months.
Oh, okay.
We'll get into that.
Uh-oh. Greater rewards? Question mark?
So it's seen as a rite of passage. It was just for young men.
Okay.
I believe that girls can also do it now, and that's more recent. It was just boys, but they're from 18 to 25. They can do their mission. And specifically men are strongly encouraged, there's that word again, to commit to the 2-year plan, the 2-year mission.
Okay.
So much so that girls, again, are strongly encouraged not to seek a partner unless they have gone on a 2-year mission.
Oh, dang.
So if you go on a year and a half,
you have to.
Yeah. You don't have to, but your life is going to be really hard. Like they literally tell, like I don't want to say breeding, but like, what's another word for they're literally from a young age. Girls they have it ingrained in them.
Yeah.
Like the ideal mate for this religion. And if they don't, like, they are very, very, very discouraged from being with anybody. Like, and if you don't do a 2-year mission.
So if you bring home a boy who went on a 1-year mission, send him packing. He's not good enough for her.
No, literally, like a girl wouldn't even bring home a boy with a 1-year mission, like, which is like that's a whole year of their life.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
6 months is a lot. A long mission trip.
Yeah, it is. We got into how young members eagerly await their assignment. It's literally like a college acceptance.
Yeah.
Like getting their mission assignment.
Like their assignment, their career assignment, and they're like, oh.
Now, on these missions, you have no contact with the outside world.
Oh, my.
You cannot contact your family other than, I think, by, like, letter. I think you can contact them by letter.
I hope so.
But, like, you can't contact you have a phone. Your host family, they take that phone. You can't have that phone.
Oh, my gosh.
Until you're, like, leaving.
That phone's out of date by the time you leave.
Literally. Like...
Now you get a new phone.
You can't have it. Now, I think the one lady said you could, like, request time with it, like, on your day off or whatever.
Okay.
Which, like, that's fine. Some of my information might be a little outdated because they change. They change their rules all the time. So, like, you know, some of it might be a little outdated. Or maybe it's incorrect information. I'm misinformed. But based off some of the stuff I saw, you're pretty alone.
Yeah.
On your mission.
That'd be hard.
Which it's like, if you think about it.
Are you with other people from the church?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes you're not.
Oh.
But if you think about it, you're taking an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
Who's never left their home. And you're straining. They also don't have any money.
Oh, so they have no freedom.
They have no money. They can't. It's not like they can go shopping and do that. You know, like maybe every now and then they can go pick up something. You know, but like they don't have money. They're missionaries. You know. For 2 years. And so
that's so long.
You take an 18-year-old, you put them in a place that they're completely unfamiliar with people they don't know, and you tell them that they have to go and do all this work, and it's like, okay. And you know, your missions, the missions, what they are is, you know, when you've seen 2 people in suits riding bicycles going around knocking on doors, that's their missions, you know. And so
are they allowed to, like, stay here, or is it another country?
They're allowed to they're allowed to stay here.
Okay.
But so, like, that's it, that's what it is. And so you put them knocking, and you know, you've seen how hateful people can be.
Yeah, to people. Yeah, they don't want to talk.
So people not in the community, you go around, you use the worst and I saw this thing on, like, they did this on purpose. You use the worst form of recruitment.
Yeah.
Ever. Nobody's going to answer the door for two strangers. Yeah. And if they do by chance, it's no, go away. So you're taking these very vulnerable people at a very vulnerable age, and you're throwing them into a very uncomfortable situation. It's
super uncomfortable to go to someone's door
that you don't know,
especially nowadays. Like, you don't do that.
And they're getting guns drawn on them. They're getting hateful. Go away. We don't want you here. Right. Getting, no, thank you. Slammed in the face, or they're not even getting an answer.
Right.
And so what that's psychologically teaching them is. And the only money they're getting is from you, and that's very little. The only shelter they're getting is from you, and that's very little. They're not allowed to contact anybody.
Right.
If they have a medical issue, they're strongly encouraged to tough it out.
Ooh, that's not good.
Like, you're taking these people, these young, vulnerable people, throwing them into a very uncomfortable situation, and basically psychologically teaching them that, that world, the secular world, the non-Mormon world,
right?
They're hateful. They're nothing but hate and awful, and you're going to be so uncomfortable with them. And then
setting them up for failure, kind of. Like,
you are. They know that this is not a successful form of ministry, and yet they do it anyways. And why do they do it? Because then it psychologically tells these young people, hey,
this is what the world...
home isn't like this. My temple's not like this. My people aren't like this, but the world is like this. The world is not accepting. The world is hateful. So it's like, no, that's not a successful form of ministry. Yeah, and they know that. And they know that. And there was like this person talking about it on TikTok or YouTube or something. I don't know. It all blends together eventually.
It's all the same thing at one point.
Anyways, that was my soapbox there. Sorry.
She's stepping down.
Yeah. They take their phones, and there was so many horror stories, especially this one specific one that I will share. There's so many all over TikTok and YouTube. If you're actually interested, you can look them up literally anywhere. And so basically, there was this girl. She was on her mission assignment, and she started having some health issues. And the host people, which sometimes it's a host family, sometimes it's like literally leaders from the church.
Oh, that's weird.
Telling you who are there with you, and so they basically, and I believe in this instance it was leaders from the church, were basically like, you really don't want to go home. Like, you don't want to end your mission, because if you end your mission, it's going to take forever to get another assignment, because you have to be worthy to get your assignment. Oh. And if you leave early, you're going to be less worthy, and you don't really want to do that. So is it really that bad, or can you tough it out?
Oof.
And so then it's like, okay, I can tough it out, or, and then she kept going and going and going. And then finally she was like, I need my phone. I need my parents to give me money to go home. I need my parents to give me money to go home.
Oh my gosh.
She didn't have any money to go home. She's like, give me my phone. I'm calling my parents. I'm going home. I'm going to the hospital. I need medical assistance.
Right.
So she goes, and she ends up losing her legs.
Oh my gosh. What did she have?
I can't remember.
Oh my gosh.
I watched the video a while ago too, but it's like she lost her legs. And she remembers. I believe she left the church, which fair.
Yeah, I would.
But she basically was like, yo, doctor, I have been having this issue for a really long time. Like, if I would have come in earlier, would that have made a difference at all? Or would that just have like prolonged the pain before I lost these and he was like, if you would have come in earlier, we could have treated you and you would be fine.
Could have saved her legs. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But she was so encouraged, and like you're taught from such a young age.
What do you do? You're scared.
No, you can't leave your mission early. And it's like, because there is dishonor brought onto your family if you leave early, if you leave your mission before your set time is up.
Legs for it, like what?
Yeah. So that's how that went for her. And that's all I got for you today.
Is that how we're ending it?
That's how we're ending it. Yeah. So if I misspoke, if you know more information, if you were a part of the church, are a part of the church,
and we got it wrong, I mean,
yeah,
let us know.
Let us know. You can reach us at lattespodcast@gmail.com or on Facebook and Instagram under Lattes on My Mind.
Yeah. And if there's some other maybe religious group that has an interesting history that you would like us to talk about as well, we're always open to that. We're always
by all means, let us know.
Awesome. Stay. Go
to the doctor if you need to go to the doctor, and don't marry multiple people.
Don't do that. Don't do it.